raised from the dead, and then you see Peter with this radical transformation going from coward to this courageous champion who's saying, look, here I stand, this is what I'm saying, this is what's true. You crucified this guy, but this is what he offered. You got that radical transformation right at the heart of what's going on around that earliest Christian movement.
And then they'll say, well, he only appeared to his followers, so it was all skewed. I said, wait a minute. James, his brother, was not a follower. James despised his brother, thought he was embarrassing the family, everything. And then Jesus appeared to him in James' own word, and he became the leader of the church of Jerusalem.
James, the brother of Jesus, didn't follow Jesus during his earthly ministry. He thought he was crazy. I mean, even the gospel accounts said, look, he's out of his mind. We don't know what he's doing. And then after the fact, James becomes an early leader in the church and was persecuted and eventually killed for that belief. And again, offhandedly, as many have said, you know, what would it take for you to come to believe that your brother is the Son of God? And yet James, you know, he shows up and he's like, hey, that's who I am. What in the world would flip Paul, or actually Saul of Tarsus, to Paul, the chief proclaimer in the early church? He was a smart guy. He was holding the coat when people were killing the first Christians. He was adamantly opposed to this movement, and then he became a Christian. What accounts for that?
So the main thing is just explaining, you know, how someone like a Saul who becomes Paul even exists.
Look at the Apostle Paul. Saul of Tarsus was anything but a follower of believing Jesus. He went from city to city, casting his vote to have him imprisoned and executed. But in his own words, Christ appeared to him. Whether you believe that happened or not, something took one of the greatest murderers into one of the greatest missionaries, to a Christian hater to a Christian lover. Something happened in Paul's life that I've never found any other explanation that it even comes close to satisfying me intellectually except, and Jesus appeared to Paul after the resurrection.
He's persecuting the church. He knows both what the official Jewish position against Jesus is, and yet the appearance of Jesus is such and so overpowering that he literally changes his worldview in the midst of what he knows. And what he knows on the ground. You know, he's feet on the ground in Jerusalem, aware of what's going on.
Within 25 years of the public crucifixion of Jesus of Nazareth, you've got a group of his earliest Jewish followers who are monotheistic, worshiping Jesus and singing hymns to him as if he were a god. And you've got to explain that. So again, this is not the Bible says so kind of stuff. This is what best explains the historical data around this earliest movement that had resurrection right at the center of it. And I don't think you can explain Christianity without the resurrection. I just think the good teaching would have not gotten you out of the first century. It would have evaporated back into the background.